In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful, all praise be to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Assalamu alaikum to all of my Muslim brothers and sisters out there. This is my first video as, I guess I could say as a Muslim. That's some things that I wanted to talk about, some things that were kind of frustrating me that I have noticed throughout people who are so-called in Islam. The title of this video is going to be called "Stop Making It Hard for New Muslims." I am a new Muslim, and a lot of these Muslims who have been in Islam for a while are making it hard for new Muslims, as well as hard for those who really follow Islam. The first thing I wanted to talk about, I wrote notes about everything that I wanted to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about was to the Muslims who are this is only to the people who are, I guess you would say, guilty of these things, and you would know who you are if you don't feel you are guilty of these things, and this is not for you. I'm not here to upset anyone. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm nowhere near perfect. But my first thing for the Muslims who are well known for this are: stop answering questions that you don't know the answer to, or answering the questions. Well, that's it. Answering the questions you don't know the answer to. There's nothing wrong with telling someone, "I don't know the answer to that question. I will get back with you soon." Or, plain and simple, "I don't know the answer to that question, but I can find out," or "I know someone who does," or what have you. There's always somebody who knows something that you don't. So that would be the first thing, is to stop answering questions that you don't know the answer to, because you don't only make yourself look bad, you make us look bad. And even if you do give an answer that sounds good, if they later on find out the real answer, or if you later on find out the real answer, they're gonna think that we're all the same, or you're gonna feel bad because you're gonna feel like you lied, because you answered something you didn't know the answer to. Next thing I wanted to say was speaking about Islam or being a Muslim, but doing the complete opposite. I've met a lot of those, and if you do not know, because if you do not know what you are doing, there is a surah, a whole entire surah. It's not very long, but it's a whole surah 63 in the Quran, that is titled "The Hypocrite." So if you didn't know that, if you're speaking about Islam and you're speaking about how good the Prophet ﷺ was, if you're speaking about these things, but you're doing something completely different, then you fall under the surah "The Hypocrite." One particular one that I like, the ayat that I like the best, is they have made their oaths a way to hide what they really are, and like this they stop men from the path of Allah. Truly their deeds are evil. So if we all know well, whether you be a Muslim or whether you be a Christian or whether you be a Baptist or what have you, you don't ever try to stop anybody from finding or wanting to know more about Allah or God, whatever you may want to call him. You don't ever stop anybody from wanting to know more about that thing. If Allah is ready for them, then Allah will guide them. Surah 2. We cannot guide anybody to the path of Allah. Allah is the only one who guides. We can surely let them know, and maybe Allah put us in that position to guide that person, or to tell that person something, and they will later on, maybe they will remember that, and maybe it may be 5 years later they remember that one thing you said, and Allah will bring that to them in truth, and maybe that will bring them to the Quran. But it is Allah ultimately who guides whoever to the path of his path, the straight path. Another thing I wanted to talk about was another topic I had on there was putting other religions down or other holy books down. For an example, the Bible. We all, as Muslims, we all believe that the Quran is the last holy book sent for all of mankind, for everybody. The way, like Allah says in the Quran, He says that today I have perfected this way of life for you. You know, and that's what the Prophet Muhammad and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's what they brought to us. You know, so this is, for us, it is perfected. But when you put down the Bible and you put down other religions, you know, in the Quran also it says that we are not supposed to oppress anybody for if they believe in something else. If you do not remember this, that the Torah, and the Bible, or the Gospel, those books were the first two books of Allah. So they're not to be put down. They, even though maybe throughout a lot of time people have put things in there to change things that shouldn't have been changed in the Bible and in the Torah, or maybe people don't uphold it like they should uphold it, there's still truth in them books, and those books are still have come from Allah. Allah never says in the Quran that He disowns the Bible, He disowns the Torah or the Gospel and the Torah. He never says that. So we should never be putting the Bible down, you know, in any fashion, shape, form, or fashion at all. Period. Once again, when you do these things that I'm talking about, you make all Muslims look bad, and you make it hard for new Muslims. You know, everything a Muslim does, they are always looking at us. You know, we're noticed wherever we go. Hence, we grow this, and we shave close here. You know, the Prophet Muhammad, he told us to do so. I'll explain that later. You know, or the Kufi, or our women, our form of modesty, to better say, how we are always covered up, which is going to be the reason why, for if you are watching these, I'm going to take off some of these old videos that I have and leave some up. I might just leave them all up. I'm not sure yet though, but I'll still be working out, but I won't be showing my body anymore. It's a form of modesty. It's a form of respect for myself and for my wife. Another thing is so yeah, that one, we all need to stop putting down other religions. If they have something bad to say about us, we may defend ourselves, but don't defend yourself by putting them down or by putting down the Bible or anything like that. You know, they know what they do wrong just as well as the whole world knows what they do wrong. There's no sense of putting them down, because in doing so you put yourself down. You can always, the truth is the only thing that you need. And you know, people can use the truth in a form to harm others, but you can also use the truth in a form to teach others. And it is always better to teach than to harm. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Islam. Islam is not a religion, but it is a way of life. So we need to stop calling Islam Islam a religion, because it's not. I understand the reason why people say Islam is a religion, or why we refer to it as a religion, because the people use the word religion as I guess a form to designate what faith you believe in. You know, if you look up the word religion in a dictionary, I did it earlier. If you look up the word religion in a dictionary, you'll get the meaning of a religion. Religion is basically someone who is pious in a institutionalized belief, or a belief period, such as Christianity or Judaism or something like that. Islam is not a religion for the simple fact that it's a way of life. And how is it a way of life? What would make Islam a way of life and Christianity not a way of life? Because in Islam, everything we do for or in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say, that means all praises, or I don't want to say the wrong thing. Better yet, I'll put that up later, what that means. Or we'll say, like when we meet a person, instead of saying hello or goodbye or so on and so forth, we say assalamu alaikum or wa alaikum salam. You know, that means peace be upon you, and then wa alaikum salam means and peace be upon you as well. You know, so it's like everything we do in remembrance of peace, or we do in remembrance of Allah or God. Even You know, even when we drink water, before we drink water, we say, or tea or juice or what have you, we say Bismillah. That, you know, basically may God bless this, or, you know, all these things we do, or in the name of Allah, you know, anything we do, we always remember God in doing so. That's not to say anyone else doesn't, but that's just saying what, you know, the reason why it makes it a way of life for us, and, you know, not a religion. That's pretty much it. Thank everybody for listening. Like I said before, I do not want to offend anybody. That is not my objective. That is not my goal. If I do so, then I humbly apologize. This is coming from a new Muslim, speaking about what I have seen, and this is not in one place, not one particular place. This is everywhere, and speaking about what I have studied and what I know. Until next time, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. Assalamu alaikum.